welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, snackers? Woo!
What's going on?
Welcome back to the pod.
Yes, we are back. Late Night Snacking Podcast.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because we don't have mics and because our dishwasher is on the go, we have to project on this one so they can hear us.
It's the most honest podcast. The most open podcast. And the most wholesome podcast
in the world. Welcome back to the pod. This is a very special episode because unfortunately this is our last episode until post-wedding.
Yep, the annual break.
Well, oh, so we not taking a break this summer? Ooh.
We take one every year. Are you forgetting?
Yeah, but we take it in like June, July, not April. But that's okay. So welcome to our pre-show to the annual break. Yes, we have been telling all this, we are signing out for April. We have a couple ideas of like just little stuff we might drop here and there. We might do like a rerun of like a popular episode from our past seasons, just stuff like that, but no new content until post-wedding. So if you, or the day you are watching this, it is March 27th, meaning we are exactly
1 month.
1 month.
Exactly.
Whoa, how did we get here? Time is flying. We'll give y'all just like a quick little like overview of where we're at, what to expect, and then we actually do have a topic for you guys tonight.
Yep.
So we'll go into that right after. So we're 30 days out. We are pretty much in the stage of like details. So
down to the smallest detail.
Down to the minute of the day and what we are doing on that minute of the day. Like, yeah.
Even the things you think that don't matter.
Oh yeah. We're being asked how would we like our napkins to be folded on the table. That's how
crazy.
That's how crisp and detailed we're getting at this time. So my mind is going absolutely batshit crazy, but it's gonna be worth it. And that's just what I keep telling myself to get through this crazy time.
It's gonna be a good time though.
How are you feeling?
It'll be well worth it. I mean, pretty good for the most part. I think I am excited. Just because like I know the day is gonna be good. It's gonna be an awesome day.
Yeah.
Also, I'm excited because I'm slick ready to get it over with.
Same.
To be honest, like, and I know that sounds crazy, but
no,
like,
it's valid.
Yeah, I'm honestly ready to kind of put this to rest.
Yeah, I was about to say the actual day of, I want it to last forever because like the day is gonna be awesome, but the entire wedding planning and wedding process, the wedding process as a whole, like, can kick rocks, can eat a wet jean jacket. Like, I'm done. I've never hated anything more up until this point.
Yeah, the actual day will be dope, but like everything in between.
Everything else can go.
It's trash.
Yeah. Can agree. But other than that, for the actual day, we're really excited. We have a lot of cool little details and stuff that we're throwing in, so I'm very excited for that. And it's just a fun time. Other than the planning, this is just like a really blissful period, and I'm really excited. And then obviously, I don't know if we've told y'all, but in June we're going on our honeymoon, and it's going to be a cruise, and that's gonna be exciting as well. Can't wait to bring y'all content for that. Before we hop into the topic, I do want to share a little, I don't know if we've shared yet, but a little surprise that we are doing. So post-wedding, okay, let me rewind. Y'all asked for like all things wedding behind the scenes, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, you'll get it this episode. Kind of true, but not really true. So what we're actually doing is we're dropping like an entire overview of this whole wedding process in May. So when we come back, like our first pod episode back is actually gonna be literal footage that we've had since like last year all the way up until like rehearsal, brunch, wedding day, like post-wedding feels on the way home. How are we feeling? We're married. Like every like little detail you can think of, like us going to get our marriage license, us going to pick up wedding bands, like we've filmed all of it. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. I've seen other YouTube people do it, and it's really fun to see like all the stuff leading up to the day. So yeah, we kind of vlogged everything for you guys, everything that we could remember to vlog at least. Batch footage is in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so everything we could vlog for you guys, we've been vlogging it, and we are dropping an entire Wansley wedding vlog in May when we come back. So, yay! Very excited for that. Hopefully that'll be a nice treat for you guys. And then obviously we'll get back into potting. So, yes. Anything else you want to add? This one's going to be a little bit of a quicker episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't know
Just
how
honestly,
long the camera's going to last.
John and Ann, because we owe y'all that too. Because did not get an episode up last week.
Yeah, we did. Did we not? When was our charcuterie episode? The week before?
That was last week actually.
Okay. Well, yeah, we did skip the week before that. It's been a wild time, but yes, we do owe y'all a good like last hoorah episode, and we're gonna come back with a bang, and I'm really excited for that. So, yeah. Yay! Okay, shall we hop in?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Go for it.
So tonight's topic will be talking about how do you reset in a relationship, right? Like basically, how do you reset when you've done something to upset your partner, right? And how do you like dispute that? Like how do you come forward and have that conversation of like, hey, you know, I've noticed you've been acting this way. Is it something I've done? You know, and them going into basically whatever it is that you've done or whatever to make them upset. Like how do you like apologize, and how do you like what does that conversation look like?
Yeah.
Basically, like how do you handle that the proper way?
The proper
Because
way.
there is a right and a wrong way to do that.
Yeah.
I will say that. So yeah, we're just kind of touching on that. I feel like that's something that is useful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a it's a productive conversation. You know, it's constructive, and it gets to the point, and you know, hopefully we hope it helps you out.
Yeah, I think the episode that we did with Phil, which that might be one of our ones that we repost, because that was a really good one. We talked about emotional intelligence, and we touched on it a little bit in that episode, which I kind of want to elaborate on it in this episode. But like how to regulate your emotions, and how that can really save you in some sort of conflict or just in your relationship in general. Like it's so important to know how to regulate yourself, how to calm down when all you're feeling is emotion. And unfortunately, like when you're having a conversation with your partner and you're trying to work things out, or you're trying to apologize, or whatever the case may be, a lot of the times the emotion piece has to be left out, because when you start bringing it in, it clouds up the fact of the matter, like what really happened here. So that regulation of your emotions and learning how to like calm those down and place them aside when you're trying to have a conversation is like really, really key, and it'll really save you there. So yeah, so we wanted to talk about that. I don't know if you want to start.
I mean, I can start.
Okay, good.
So, I guess sometimes we don't always know that we've done something to like distress our partner or cause some type of stress or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes we just don't. So sometimes it may be things that we do, it may be things that we don't do.
Yeah.
You know, and this could really probably get up under your partner's skin. So I guess, let me ask you, like, what is the incorrect way of, I guess, initiating that conversation of like, hey, you know, I've noticed this about you, like you do this, it really does bother me, or you've done this to bother me, or no, you've done this to upset me. Like,
Yeah.
if I've let you know that you've done something to upset me or whatever, like, what is your next move? Because believe it or not, some people think this is to get defensive and be like, oh, but, you know, it's always but you always, or, you know, it's always something that, versus like internally taking that in and like getting to the cause of whatever it is that you did, you know?
Yeah. That part is hard because as just a fellow human being, nobody really ever wants to be wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody ever really wants to be wrong. And it's not even that you're wrong, it's just that you don't want to feel like you're the one in the wrong. And I want to make that clear before I do elaborate, is that neither of you in the situation necessarily is wrong. Now, I don't know what the like details of maybe your relationship is or whatever, but like 9 times out of 10, like there's not like a right or a wrong in the fight. It's just like you two are two separate people who are seeing the same situation differently, and now you're on two different playing fields on where you stand on the issue. So bringing it back in, like, nobody ever wants to feel like they're the wrong one in the situation. And a lot of times they pull in like, oh, but you always do blah, blah, blah.
The deflection.
Yeah, they want to deflect. They want to get defensive. A lot of the times it's like an ego thing where it's just like, well, I can't admit that I was like wrong in this scenario because I'm never wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so I think the first thing to do is listen. I don't remember if it was like last episode when we were talking about the marriage counseling, how you were saying like one thing that I do really well is like listen.
Yeah.
But when you listen, that means you do not talk. You can't listen to somebody and talk and be doing doing those both at the same time. So non-existent. So if your partner is coming to you expressing that, and there is a way to express it as well, but if they're expressing that like something has upset them, something that you've done has made them feel a certain way or whatever, really hear them out. I feel like you should really want to like understand where your partner is coming from and hear them out. So really listen to what they're saying, especially if this is becoming like a pattern or something. Like, hear them out for what they're trying to say. I think secondly, like once you've really heard them out, I think that part, like whichever way you want to go with that is up to you. But again, I wouldn't pull in like being defensive and deflecting and stuff like that. I would more try to go with like, okay, so I've done this and you feel like this. Why do you think you feel like that? What was it exactly that I said that made you feel like that? I think asking those like probing questions and trying to like dig more into the matter is only going to help the situation. But yeah, and then of course we've had conversations on like how you should conflict resolution. I think
Right.
from there it is practicing, okay, how do we come to some sort of like resolution to this? But yeah, being as like empathetic as you can, because if the shoe were put, if it was reversed,
Yeah.
you would want them to hear you out
Mm-hmm.
and listen to what you have to say and try and understand you and etc. So
So I think it's safe to say that respect is at the top of the list.
yeah.
Also, like, if you're the one who is expressing how you feel because your partner may have did something or said something, whatever, like, I think the right approach there can be like, like coming to, like, if let's say you did something and it really upset me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna just start out by blasting you like, why do you always do that? Why do you like?
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna be like, hey, like, can we talk for a second? There's something that has been bothering me, and then from there we can go into the conversation.
Yeah.
Anytime your first initial note is to explode,
Yeah, or like attack.
yeah, to try to get answers out of somebody, like, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna get one. You probably gonna get no answer at all. 2, you might get an answer that you're
Not gonna like very
you'll get a
much.
response that you're not gonna like.
Yeah.
So remember, if you're the one who's wanting to confront the issue or hash it out, then in short, make sure you come correct.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say before, that there's a way to go about like approaching that. I think of it as like you're approaching a child, maybe. I don't know if that sounds condescending, but like just trying to give you an example, but like approaching a child who is in distress, or like they're stressed about something, they're crying or they're yelling or they're like in a mood, like I feel like the worst thing you could do is match them where they're at and like yell at them and be like, stop crying, shut up, like stuff like that. Like that's just like when you meet them at that level, that's exactly what you're gonna keep getting back.
Right.
Like you have to come down and like give a space to be vulnerable. We were talking about this earlier, but like I feel like that's the only way you can actually get some sort of like productive conversation, is when you're allowing it to be like a safe space for the other person to talk. So I think what you said was perfectly, and I know I've addressed things like that with you before, where I'm like, hey, do you have a second? Like, especially if you're like watching TV or you're like in the middle of something, like I'm not just gonna come at you sideways like and attack you, because like that's just not the conversation that I want to have. Like if I want something to be productive, like I want your full attention. I want to be calm because I want you to respond to me calmly. So like meeting somebody where they're at, if they're already like tension and hot, is not going to get you anywhere. And also if they're already vulnerable, attacking them is also not going to get you anywhere. So just like trying to be as like calm and level-headed as you can going into a conversation like that, to me is like the best way to go about it, because then the other person feels like, okay, this is a safe space, like
you cover more ground that way.
You
get more out of it.
I think too, so we won't go into specifics about what the conversation was, but we were having a pretty like heavy conversation, I would say like a couple weeks ago. And there was something that he kept saying like over and over again, and I'm like, why is he like pinning this on me? Like I wasn't really understanding, and it just like kept coming up in the conversation, and I'm like, okay, this is something that's like bothering him. It's something that's like important to him because he keeps bringing it up. So instead of being like, why do you keep doing this, and why do you keep saying this, and I haven't done anything, and then I just like probed and like I asked questions. I was like, why do you think you feel like that? Like, has something happened to you before that I am not involved in that you maybe feel some type of way about, so you're bringing it in this conversation? Like, tell me what's going on here. Like, I just want to know, I want to understand. When you come at it from that point of view, that opens up like an entire floor to allow your partner to be like, okay, like this is a safe space, I could talk about this, like she's hearing me out. She already knows something's going on. So like, I have the floor. I can talk without judgment and just talk freely. So like, there's a certain way you have to like go about having those tough conversations. Because like I said before, that attacking stuff is like not it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think on the other side of it, if you're on the other side and you're the person who's done something, I think it would be in your best interest to be accepting.
Yeah.
Be open to, well, one, listen, make sure
Yeah.
you're hearing what your partner's saying, and be accepting. Like, because I will say it's not always easy hearing from somebody else that what you do or what you don't do bothers them. Like, you never want to be the guy that calls somebody stress, or be the person that calls somebody like harm, or you're the reason why they're upset. Like, no one ever wants to feel like that. So like, you have to be accepting, like, understand that it's not an attack on you. It's not an attack. It's more of like, how can we get down to the nitty gritty of this thing and move forward. That's why the topic mainly is like resetting.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just like a whole reset, like moving forward after you or your partner's done something or whatever, and just progressing forward and working through it. So let me ask you this: in what space would it be okay for the person who done something, like, to be like, this is something like kind of like the conversation we had a couple weeks ago, where that was something that had happened to me, but you would never know that though. Like you said, you literally had to probe me. You basically just asked the right questions and you got the right answers.
Yeah.
So in what, I guess in what conversation or in what space would like that not really be necessary, as far as you like not having to like, I guess, try to figure out if your partner's dealing with some type of trauma and that's why they do the things they do, or they don't do what they do. Like, do you know what I mean?
No.
Like,
I might need like an example.
Let me think.
You're saying in what situation is it not necessary to?
Yeah, because that's not always it. Some people just kind of like do things or don't do things because they just do, or they just don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really a root cause, or maybe there is and we just don't know about it.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I'm one of those.
So you don't think that like that could ever be a possibility?
I mean, maybe, but 9 times out of 10, like, people, there's motive to everything. Like,
That's true.
People's actions and people's words and responses to things, like, they're getting that from somewhere. Like, it doesn't have to be trauma, but they're getting it from something. Like, maybe this is just the way they acted in their previous relationship, so they think because the other person tolerated it, you'll tolerate it. Like, it could be anything. Like, but I don't believe that people just do things for shit's sake. Like, I really think there's like reasoning and intention, even if they're not trying to be intentional about it. Like, there is reasoning behind why people do and say the things they do and say. So I don't know, like, maybe this is just because I'm an empathetic person, but like, in any situation possible, I'm always gonna want to know like the why. Like, why do you?
That's the most important.
Yeah, why do you act like that, or why do you say that, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm always gonna ask those type of questions because like, I don't want to judge anybody at like face value. Yeah, like, I don't know, I just think we're really complex beings and there's just extra layers to people that maybe people just haven't asked them the questions before. So
that's true.
I don't know. So no, I don't know if there's a situation to where like you wouldn't ask those types of questions, or there isn't a situation where I wouldn't ask those questions. I do think though, like, as the partner who has maybe upset the other partner, like, y'all ever heard that song Mirrors by Justin Timberlake? Great song, by the way. But the lyrics, or what he's saying, is saying like, it's like you're my mirror staring back at me. I'm getting real poetic here. But but he's talking about his partner basically being a reflection of him. And that's the most like complimentary thing you could say to somebody, because you're literally trusting that person to be the best judgment of you, whether that's good, bad, like all your little quirks, all your cute little quirks, all your like bad habits. Like, you are trusting that person to be a reflection of you and let you know if you're showing your ass or not. Like, yeah. So as the party that has maybe upset the other one, if your partner is coming to tell you like, hey, sometimes when you do this, like, it makes me feel XYZ, or like, hey, you've been doing this a lot lately, I don't know what this is about, but like, can we chat about it, because it's kind of making me feel blah blah blah.
Right.
So like, if your partner's coming to you and saying those things, like, you almost, if you love and respect them, you almost have to trust that what they're saying is correct. Like, because they are the person that is with you the most. They're the person that you are basically putting trust in to like let you see yourself when you can't see yourself from their perspective. So I think like that's a really hard thing to do, because like we said in the very beginning, nobody ever wants to be the person that made somebody feel some type of way, or like made somebody cry, or like whatever the situation may be. But like, you have to take that with more than a grain of salt if somebody is in a nice way telling you about yourself, because they're probably right. So I know we don't like to hear that, but listen.
You brought up a good point, because your partner, like you said, is somebody who spends a lot of time with you. So a lot of the things that you do or don't do that you don't even think about, your partner sees, right? Yeah. So that's an opportunity for you to see yourself from another perspective. Yes. And to internally take that in and really consider that. Like, this is what you seem like, or this is what you look like to somebody else through somebody else's lenses. Because honestly, in no way, shape, form, or fashion could we ever step outside of ourselves and look at each other. Like, I mean, you just can't do that. So your partner is the closest thing you could ever get to that. And you have to think too, like, sure, your parents, because those are other than your partner, those are the people that you spent most of your life with. But like, a parent's love to a child is almost like, is truly like unconditional. Like, that's 100% biased. Yeah, you're not marrying your child. Like, that's not somebody that you're like having to start a family with. Like, you brought them into the world. You are doing your best to guide them and mold them into the adult that they're coming to be. But after that, like, you don't know what's going on with your child outside of all of that. So like, you just have to trust that you instill the right things in them and like let them go. But like, your love for them is like, of course your mom's gonna love you if you leave shit around the house. Of course your mom's gonna love you if you're not that good of a communicator. Of course your mom's gonna love you. You know what I mean? Like, there's quirks and things about you that of course your parents are gonna love you no matter what. Your partner does not have to deal with that shit. And they are the ones to tell you like, hey, these are things that are okay with me. These are things that are not okay with me. These are boundaries that you're crossing that like, your mom may love you despite of that, but I'm not gonna tolerate that. So it's just, it's coming from, it's like the most like reflective as you can get, because this is somebody who didn't know you in another time while your childhood. Maybe you grew up together, I don't know, but this is somebody that is like loving you as an adult, and you are a new person in this stage in your life. So they are a direct reflection of you and what you're putting out there. So you have to trust them with that's what I was about to say. If they have your best interests at heart, you should. And like you said, not in every capacity, and not every situation, but this particular situation, I think you honestly should respect your partner's perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's of you.
Yeah.
This is a part, like I said, of yourself that you don't normally see, or you just don't never really think about.
Yeah.
Lastly, what I wanted to go into was, okay, how do you reset? So we've had the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. It was a healthy conversation. Like you.
Hopefully.
Yeah. You let me know what it was that I did, or I let you know what it was that you did to bother me. Like, where do we go from here? If you're the party who, I guess, was the one who did something.
I think you have to take into consideration that, like, and I go into every conversation like that we kind of have with each other. Like, this is the first time we are talking about something. I don't want to have this conversation again. Meaning, if I really did something to hurt you or upset you, I don't want to find ourselves 5 months later having this same conversation about something that you told me hurt you months ago. We shouldn't be in that boat anymore. Like, we should have been fixed or keep working on whatever it was that was brought up before. So that's a huge thing with, like, patterns and apologizing. Like, somebody can apologize all day. Right. Oh, you're so chivalrous for saying you're sorry and da da da. That doesn't mean anything if you keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. So, and that's what I mean by really listening. Like, when your partner is telling you something that upsets them, like, listen, because we shouldn't be having this conversation again. Like, I want this to be the first and last time that you bring up this issue with me, because I want it to be something that I'm working on, because I don't want to continue to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as the party that maybe, messed up a little bit or did something to upset the other partner, like, really take it into consideration that, like, okay, this is my time to, like, learn something about myself and work on something for me and my partner, because I don't want to be having the same conversation down the line.
Right.
So.
And I think for the person who, I guess, is hurt or bothered by whatever it is their partner did, be patient with your partner. It's not going to happen overnight where they're just going to change and be the person you want them to be. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean don't hold them accountable.
Yeah.
100% hold them accountable for that. Like,
yeah.
If you're going to tell me, hey, I'm going to work on not doing such and such no more, or doing more of such and such, okay, cool. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that's mean.
Yeah, no.
Like,
because holding somebody accountable doesn't mean, like, be a jerk to them.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, hey, I thought you were going to work on that.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like you're working to me.
Right,
like, don't
right,
be like that.
right.
But you can just be like, hey, like, I remember us having a conversation where you said you were going to just making sure that we're on the same page. On that.
Yep.
Simple.
Yeah. That's really it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the type of relationship you should strive to have with somebody, because that's just somebody that loves you and wants you to do better.
And to be the best, like the
and
best version of yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, they just want you to be better. Especially if you are saying you're gonna work on something, like, having that accountability partner with you going on, like, that's just that extra little voice in your ear, like, yes, you can do it. I believe in you. Keep going. Don't give up. Like, don't, go back on your word. Like,
right.
Yeah. So, I think it was good. I like that topic.
It's a good topic.
It was a good topic.
Like I said, I think it's constructive.
Yeah.
It's things that, people, as people that we see every day.
Yeah.
Rather it be in a friendship or a relationship, situationship, whatever. You pretty much see that pretty often. So
what's wild is that, like, everything that we just said doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. Like, that could work in any sort of relationship that you have with somebody. Just
teammates,
basic communication skills and not meeting somebody where they're at, and
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like there's different tactics, but last point I want to make, I saw an Instagram story actually of one of my friends. She was talking about it today, and she was just basically saying that, like, and we've talked about this on an episode too, but I really just want to stress it because it hits home here. But in terms of like in a disagreement or a fight or whatever, like it's literally just two different people with two different points of views.
Yep.
Looking at the same thing. Like there's always like two sides and then the actual thing that happened, but like of course both people are gonna see it differently. Like you have different emotions, you have a different emotional tie to the situation, like you have a different thought process on how things happen, like it's just different. So it's pointless to try and like prove to the other person that you're right or persuade them to come to your side and like understand you. She was like, you can like hear what the other person is saying and validate their feelings and still not agree with them, and that be okay. Like you don't have to, like, resolution isn't okay, now we hold hands and we agree and we sing kumbaya. Like that's not all the time does resolution look like that. It can still be like, I love you, I respect you, your feelings are valid, but we just don't see eye to eye on this one thing, and that's okay. Like we have things like that where we,
it's okay to agree to disagree.
Yes, we say that all the time. Like because it is like you just, it's so exhausting trying to make somebody be on your side or understand how you think to the core. Like nobody's ever going to understand that. They're not in your brain, they're not in your body, they are their own person outside of you. So yeah, just don't waste your physical energy on trying to get somebody to see it how you see it. Like
for example, like I like to watch movies. She's not a movie person, she can't make it through a movie. Am I gonna go and be like, this isn't gonna work because she can't sit through an hour movie? No, I honestly could care less. I enjoy the movie. But I will say,
just like me when it's over.
It does get annoying when I make movie references and she doesn't get them because she doesn't watch movies. Now
that's almost a deal breaker.
Yes, that's almost a deal breaker there. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm joking.
You're silly. Alrighty, you guys.
I do have a request.
Okay.
Because it's been such a long time.
Okay.
I think we should hit him with the late night slack.
Oh my
Stick
God.
it right there in the square.
Whose turn is it?
Mine, I think.
I'm scared. I'm gonna edit it in after the episode, but just whatever it is. Whatever it is, it'll be on the screen in 3, 2, 1.
Look at it. Look at it.
You know what? I'm coming back with bangers when we come back.
It'd be crazy out here, boy.
In May, it's up.
It'd be crazy.
Alrighty, y'all. Next time you see us, we will be married, which is nuts to say.
Yep.
But I am very excited to come back and join you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, we will try and put out like some older episodes in April just to give y'all something if you want to listen to or you haven't heard older episodes. Now is your chance. So thank y'all for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you are not following us on IG, you should, because we will have wedding pictures up on there at LNS the Pod on IG. Go do that. Okay, love y'all and see y'all in May.
All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all be safe out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Next time you see me, I'm gonna be hitting y'all with that right there.
With the other hand. Bye.